Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Alice Hirsch and Alec Turcot from the band Cloned Apparition. So grab a fresh cup of coffee and wake the fuck up! What's going on, Caffeinated Crew? On this episode, I'm joined by two lovely people that are friends of mine. It's Cloned Apparition, or 2/4 of Cloned Apparition. I was trying to think of a cool way to say that, but it just didn't come out.
You mean Cloned Apparition?
Cloned Half-Apparition.
Clone half a portion.
It's Alec and Alice. What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's up?
Chilling. Alice, are you in Montreal right now, or are you on tour?
I'm in Montreal right now, shockingly enough.
I thought that you were on tour.
No, that ended on the 19th.
Oh, damn. Okay. B.
It's all good.
Alec, we know where you at. You in the West Island vibe.
My girl's apartment in the West.
Y'all know about island. Y'all know about island vibes, but only a few of y'all know about West Island vibes.
Yo, talk to him.
I'm an island boy.
Wow, West Island.
Holy shit.
Cool. What y'all got going on drink wise? Let's start with Alice.
So right now I am drinking on a cold brew that I got from Second Cup. Technically, it's not a cold brew.
Ooh.
But they call it a cold brew, so it is.
I'm just drinking water. I'm drinking water right now, but I did have a nitro cold brew from Diz's Bagels, which was very good. So Grayson, it's right next to Victor Rose.
Oh.
It's a bagel shop that opened, and they are like, oh, we're bringing in iced coffee, but they just bought like those like things that make nitro cold brew, and it's like really good. Yeah.
That sounds like they failed upwards.
Yeah, no, they screwed up.
Yeah, they screwed up upwards.
No, it was like the happiest mistake. I was like, wow, okay.
You know what beans they're using?
You know what? I've asked, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know." And I was like, oh, "Okay."
All right.
So I was like really disappointed, but I mean, whatever.
We're gonna have to get into Diz's DMs.
I'm gonna have to start grilling them. But you know, Victor Rose is the spot. That's
Victor Rose is the spot. They got Rabbit Hole.
They do.
True.
Rabbit Hole's they do cool stuff. And I don't know if y'all follow Rabbit Hole on Instagram, but they post hilarious coffee memes.
I'm all about that.
Like one of them I saw was like, it was like a Simpsons one. I can't remember which specific meme it is, but it's like me putting bergamot on all of my tasting notes, and then me realizing I've never actually eaten a bergamot.
Dude, you get a Simpsons meme, you got Alice for sure.
Yo, Simpsons memes are my fucking jam. I live and breathe the Simpsons, so.
Wow. That seems like beyond your years, though.
Beyond my years. I mean, true, but
you underestimate Alice's age.
Well, I mean, Simpsons, that's like old people funny.
No, it got some hits.
They got some hits.
They got some hits, you know, like, I'm not to show my age or anything, but yeah, they got some hits.
Well, I mean, I guess if you look at it from a fresh perspective, I don't know what it is about the yellow people on there. I can't get into it. And I don't mean that like that. I mean that as in I don't like the animation style.
I knew what you meant.
Stop trying to cancel me on my own fucking podcast, bro.
These kids out
here, they shooters, bro. They just looking for everything, trying to trip you up and shit.
We will not. You will not catch us slipping. Let me tell you.
I'll tell
Actually,
you
you
that much.
will a lot. That's a lie.
We got that shit locked down.
Yo.
I'm drinking something special, and by special, it's because I had their coffee one time, like in 2020, when they, I think, first started roasting. But I was up in the Plateau over the weekend and went into a shop that had some decaf from 8 ounce. 8 ounces in Little Italy.
Oh yeah, 8 ounce. Yeah.
It's got a cute little bird thing on it, so it kind of reminds me of Portlandia, which is cool. And what I did is, because I knew I was having some cold brew folks, is I did a iced V60 pour over.
Oh yeah.
Also called a Japanese iced coffee. And I bastardized it because then I popped the top on a Mexican Coke and went half and half on it.
Oh, whoa. Yo, that's so sick.
So slightly caffeinated.
Just a little bit.
Slightly caffeinated.
But I did try the cold brew, or not the cold brew, the iced coffee before I destroyed it. And it's really good, actually. It's probably the best decaf I've had. Sorry, Danielle, because before this, Balance was like the best decaf I'd had. This one's it's a tough competitor, but it's honeycomb, kumquat, and balanced, which is not a note. It's just a way of life. And it feels like he's going. It feels like he's just throwing straight shots at Balance's cold brew, or at his decaf.
Has there ever been like a coffee, like a turf war?
Coffee turf war.
Yeah, Verdun. It's Little Italy's coming for Verdun.
Oh man, yeah, that sounds cool. I would definitely want to try that. Like next time I'm in Little Italy.
I can't remember the coffee I had from them originally, but the shop is cute. It's a cute shop.
Sweet.
It's on Saint-Zotique.
Ah, nice. Very
If
cool.
you're ever that far up.
Listen, I'm Italian. Maybe I will venture. It's my home, you know.
Just walk in. Hey, yo, I heard you got the cold brew.
Hey, yo, can I get a little cold brew?
Hey, I don't want an espresso.
Hey, I'm brewing here.
Can I get some coffee?
Hey, yo, I'm brewing here.
Hey, I'm brewing here, bro. Can I get some coffee?
We
Cup
have
of
single-handedly just offended everyone on Long Island collectively.
And we haven't even hit the 10-minute mark on this episode, I feel.
Hey, yo. It's a good thing that there's no video on the podcast, because that would just add insult to injury.
I'd be so
it'd be so over for us, bro.
Well, tell me y'all's go-to shop.
For coffee? Shit, my go-to shop would either be Piccolo or Big Trouble. Big Trouble is usually where I go to for the most part. Shout out Big Trouble.
Chopped cheese. I mean, chopped cheese. They got the chopped cheese.
Yeah, the chopped cheese. The vegan mac and cheese, bro, goes absolutely crazy. So probably the best vegan mac and cheese I've had.
My number one,
sorry,
and everybody knows this, that knows me, is Milk.
Okay, real.
On Monkland. But also been really big on Balance lately. Piccolo too. Obviously, like every time we're at Foofs, at Fufun Electric, at a show, playing it, whatever, we go to Piccolo. And then I got to give some love to Big Trouble, because I haven't been in person yet, but Alice did bring me their cold brew, and that was so good.
I wanna circle back to the Milk thing. Alec's favorite cafe is in fact Milk. There was one point where we were supposed to hang out, and then Milk closed because there was like a blackout or something. And Alec sent me a voice message being like, "Milk is closed. My life is over." Because he's like, "I'm gonna kill myself."
No, listen, so where I went to school, it was 5 minutes away. So my one treat after I'd finished my class would be Milk. and like you make your way there, and you're like, your blood's flowing. You're like, I'm about to get, the good stuff. You get there, they're like, we're closed. There's a blackout, and I went like, oh my god, like,
like fell to his knees, bro.
I felt like someone shot a dog. Like it was that bad,
Like
I was like,
in the middle of the street.
I almost went John Wick on him.
Oh, fuck.
So then we went to Pigeon across the street, and Alec was not happy. Like you could see in Alec's face, he was just like, it's okay, it's not milk, no.
Good, it wouldn't melt.
Not to throw puns or wordplay at all. Pigeon is foul.
Okay, like I mean, it's funny because their tagline I think is like best worst coffee or worst coffee ever or something like that. And I don't know if that was because they wanted to be quirky or if they were just being like brutally honest, but there were zero lies told with that tagline. That just sucks.
Listen, the breakfast is good. That's all I'll say.
The space that they've got over the Concordia location is pretty cool. The one that's next to like Hang Time Pizza and all that.
I think it's a Fugazi now. Fugazi
no,
pizza?
It's Hang Time.
Okay.
It looks like Fugazi, but it's Hang Time.
Ah, that's it. Okay. Word.
But the espresso I had there is bad. And I don't have a problem saying that because it's roasted by Union.
Yeah. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
And I don't mean to offend if anyone listening is like a person that runs Union. I would love to talk to you because I want to know why you do this.
Oh my god!
I don't think I've had a single cup of coffee that's been roasted by Union that is drinkable.
Yeah. Yeah. But milk, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Wow.
My only thing is that milk should make their cold brews all year round. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm
it.
one of those, like, if you're a barista listening to this, if there's like a dude who comes up to you and is like, do you have cold brew? And then you're like, no, it's the middle of January. I'm that guy. Like, I don't care. Like, I will do it I will ask year round. Like,
speaking of that, like I remember going to Starbucks and it was it was like literally like dead of January. It was like negative like 27 degrees. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to grab a nitro cold brew. And this guy was like, oh, you're brave today. And I was like, what? Like, yo, like cold brew is a year round thing. Like, let's make it happen.
That happened to me at Milk too, where I went in February. I went in March and they had it. And I was like, can I get a cold brew? And they were like, they looked at me like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, like give it to me now.
Okay, so this is an interesting idea because coffee is traditionally brewed like it's a hot beverage, but cold brew is not ever hot. It's always cold. Can we argue that it's like a separate beverage? And it's like if somebody ordered a warm Coke, you would look at them like they were crazy.
Absolutely. Like my mind is kind of blown right now, but it is still coffee. But I guess it like, because when you go to Victor Rose, they do qualify it under like a seasonal drink, and they don't really group it in with their coffees or their espressos, obviously. But like, I mean, it is at the end of the day, it's still beans with water, just made in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Alice, do you have to add to this?
No, I mean, it's all facts.
All facts.
All facts.
No blame, just facts.
Real tea, no shade. Yeah, I agree. The shop that I worked in back in Savannah, year-round cold brew.
But yeah, like Savannah's a place where you can justify it. Like, it's funny when I tell like my friends who are like from like not even like just from the South, but like in America, they're like, oh, you don't have like, what do you mean you guys are cold brew seasonal? Like that makes no sense. And I'm like, it does, because like at the end of the day, it is just me asking for it.
Most people who've like come to Canada come in the winter, so you don't understand that they get like negative 30s, like so common. So of course people are just gonna be like, yeah, like who the fuck orders cold brew when it's like polar, like literally North Pole outside? Bitch, me. That's who.
I want the cold brew.
I want the brew, bro.
Speaking of cold brew, you guys have an Instagram.
We do.
The name is just so good that I need somebody to say it.
Nitro cold brew shemi.
Oh,
Wait, is it? Yeah, yeah. So funny
I
enough,
can't take any credit. This is all Alice.
it was literally, yeah, it was all me. But I was initially going to call it Stone Cold Brew Austin, but there was already like a coffee page with that, and I wanted to find other things related that would make a good name because I was like, oh, like I can't just call it Alice and Alec Coffee Blog or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, what's the closest to that? Oh yeah, Steve Buscemi. Could just change it to Buscemi. And then I was like, oh, that rocks.
Page, we were absolutely inspired by Lumpy's Coffee Guy 1990 page.
Oh yeah, Lumpy's.
I saw him do that. I was like, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, Lumpy's the guy. Shout out Lumpy.
Yeah.
Shout out Lumpy.
Shout out Lumpy. Shout out Days.
Shout out Days Style.
Days style, baby.
Find every band from Montreal. Days, please. Days.
Come on, do it.
It's fun when your AirPods just fucking die in the middle of your.
Yeah, I was worried that was gonna happen to me, so I just didn't wear them. I was like, something weird's gonna happen with my audio.
I thought they had more life in them, but they
just
didn't.
don't.
They just
Nah, AirPods will suck and fuck the life out of like
There it
anything in 30 minutes. Were you say, oh, okay. Were you expecting that?
I had like a timer to be like, when is it gonna come up in this conversation?
15 minutes.
Just about.
wait. The saying,
Yeah,
the sucking.
Alice's termed saying.
Yeah,
You want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I can get into that a little bit. So, well, it started back in like 2020. Yeah, like peak COVID. I made like a meme about how was it 2020 or 2021? I think it was 2021 when the vaccination period was coming in, and I had an article that said, "Oh, the CDC vaccine can now allow like you to do things in most places." So I used Inspect Element and I put sucking and fucking, and then it blew up, and now it's kind of like the term I go with now. So, and I've got everyone to say it. I've gotten my coworkers to say it. I've gotten my dates to say it. I've gotten my partner to say it. I'm a problem. So
Yeah, that's
it.
That's like mad negative influence shit right there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, my friend went to Europe recently, and apparently like in France, someone said "get sucked and fucked," and then they were like, "Alice, your influence." I was like, "Oh boy."
That's actually kind of unhinged that would happen in France.
Of all places.
Of all places, bro.
Was it in the
like,
middle
oh,
of like
boy.
a French sentence too? Like he's speaking French and then
I
like,
actually don't know. I didn't ask him to give me any details, but he literally just texted me in the group chat being like, "Alice, like sucking and fucking has become international," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Jesus.
Whoops.
Is this coffee? It sucks and it fucks.
The coffee sucks and fucks. It's cool.
I'll leave y'all to do the accents. I'm not about to do that shit and get blitzed on.
Blamed.
Yeah.
Get blamed for it.
Well, that's wonderful. Like I said, love the name of the coffee page because I'm not creative enough to think of like funny names like that. Like we're lucky we got beans and breakdowns because it was just
Such a good name.
It's straight to the point.
Well, I mean, apparently there's also a podcast in Boston called Baked Beans and Breakdowns.
Oh, so you got competition.
Is it coffee or is it like a
No, I think it's like just a music podcast, but it's called like Baked Beans because of Boston baked beans.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I just literally saw a comment
Just
on
beans
it.
and breakdowns to me is catchier. But
Yeah, beans and breakdowns is catchy, but it also makes sense. I mean, baked beans and breakdowns too, but
If it's from Boston.
boy,
yeah, right. It makes sense geographically. Beans and breakdowns just make sense generally. Straight to the point. Coffee and breakdowns.
That's it. Two things.
That's it.
Two things.
Nothing.
That's it.
That's it.
No branching off. We're not talking about mental health on here. We're not talking about I'm just kidding. We can talk about mental health. Clone Apparition.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
The name?
Yeah.
It's from the band. It's a South Florida metalcore band called A Needle Under the Nail. And that was the band that me, T, and Alice all bonded over as to why we started the band initially. So I was just going through their track list of their discography, and I was like, Clone Apparition, cool name. But we were going to be a metalcore band.
Okay. So originally y'all were going to be metalcore.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Then how did y'all get to the shoegazy, neo grungy style that y'all are?
So I think a good portion of that was just that because we started Clone Apparition in around 2021. And we thought that like, oh, you know what, like it's a new year, COVID will get a lot better, but it did not, and things got worse. And I think during that time, lots of us just went through like a deeper dive in like music discovery, and we discovered like a bunch of bands like Downward and Money and Curse the Knife and all of that. And I think like that kind of like meshed into our tastes, where we were getting a little tired of metalcore a little bit, like not fully like retired from it, but just like, oh, I feel like we should try something new. And it's like grunge shoegaze is not something you see a lot of in Montreal, or you don't hear much of in Montreal. So we figured out like based on what we've listened to recently and what our interests are, we should probably veer the other direction and see where that takes us. So that's where it all began.
So originally, were you doing like dirty, like screaming vocals?
Yeah, initially I was going to do screaming vocals. Yeah.
And then did you just kind of like learn to sing, or have you been singing? Like
I kind of learned. I mean, I did sing a bit before, like not with Clone, but like with like certain past passion projects. I was like singing and stuff. And I feel like since then I've kind of just gotten a lot better with like singing, like more comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say that like Clone has definitely been where I started to sing more.
And same with you, Alec. Were you like more of like a straight shredder? I know you play that fucking Ibanez and Bruiserweight. So is that like,
dude? I bought that Ibanez for Clone Apparition.
Yeah, funny enough.
No, okay. So we were getting government money from CERB from COVID. I go to the shop. I go with my friends in like Buell, like Ben and Tyler. Shout out to them. We go to this music shop. I'm like, I'm looking for an Ibanez because I want to be like the guitar player from Vane, because he had an Ibanez.
Yeah, the RGR.
Yeah, the RGR. Mine's just an RG series, but I freaking love that thing. Mm-hmm. So I go, I grab it, I tune it down to drop C. I try and write a riff, and I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, this is just like, I have like nothing coming to me or nothing sticking. So when we got into our first like jam as Cloned, I'm just like, yo, I kind of want to write like grungy shoegaze shit. And then everyone was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then and then it was literally just that. And then ever since then, boom.
That's dope.
Yeah. That's literally how all of our songs were written. It was just someone had an idea and we were like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the cool thing too with Clone is that like, it's not written by one person. It's like each person has like, their parts in it, like whether it's with the lyrics or the riffs or how the drum is being played. It's like everyone has their part in it. So, and 9 times out of 10, it's literally just because we all said, you know what, fuck it, this works. Like, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So there's no like principal songwriter.
It's a collective effort.
That's cool.
It's a collective effort. Yeah. That's exactly why. We've had this talk a lot about like, you know, like, oh, if someone can't, like, if we have a show and someone can't make it, we're just not gonna play it because we have like such a huge chemistry together that it's just like, yeah, it's like a 100% collective effort, all through and through.
Yeah. Everyone brings something, like everyone brings something to the table. There's not like a session guy or anything. Like, it's like, yo, Adam will come in with the part, T will come in with the part, I'll come in with something, Alice will come up with something. The lyrics, I will say, that's like mostly Alice will chime in, maybe like structure some lyrics and stuff. But yeah, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
That's how it should be, man. No egos.
Real.
No egos. Just teamwork.
Egos.
Just riffing and spliffing.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
no spliffing for me, dog.
No spliffing.
No spliffing for me.
Riffing and then riffing again for Bruiserweight.
Riffing and riffing.
Riffing and brewing. That's the way to
go. Coming of spring, you guys released the EP in January, end of January, right?
February.
Oh, was it? It was February because it was pre Madhouse.
Yeah, it was literally the week before Madhouse.
That's right. I couldn't remember if it was that ending or that was a blur of 2 months.
I know.
Yeah.
So much happening.
It sounds great. Max Lajoie, the king.
Crushed it.
He
MVP.
Did it. Yeah, he did it. I think it's probably one of the best releases to come out of Montreal this year. Scaramanga is also up there, but y'all's is just good. It sounds so different. It's what we need right now. It's fresh.
Thank you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. For collectively, I think it was all of our the first piece of music we've ever done. And like theoretically, it should be bad.
I want to say that I feel like we did a good choice by having someone who is as meticulous and perfectionist as Max to be the first person to record it. Because I feel like in any other context, if anyone gave us any like I would say not creative liberty, like more like recording liberty, then I feel like we might have been a flop. But I feel like having someone who is literally like, especially with like vocals, like I think I did like 23 takes in total of everything. So because Max is just that meticulous. So having someone who's just very perfectionist and meticulous about everything has helped us so much with like this release being fucking like as good as like making this release just as good as it should be for a first release. Like it was just insane. Like it blew me out the water when I heard the masters.
Yeah, it's definitely this is why a lot of, I think the older crowd, it's not that we dislike y'all. It's that it's hard to understand how a first band where it's literally, I think it's you guys and Adam's first band, and T was in a band before, right?
He was, but I don't think there was anything that ever came out.
Yeah. But the fact that the first piece of music y'all have put out as musicians is so frustrating, because there's a lot of stuff that I wish I could scrub from the internet.
Yeah, it's like the first piece of music from all of us, except I guess from all of us, because even for me when I was in bands, it was just like filling in and out. Like I didn't have any creative input in anything. So it's cool having just all four of us having our first piece of music out ever, and it kind of sending waves. And I feel like what Alec was going to say, and I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like if we stayed metalcore, we probably wouldn't have the same reception that we have now. I don't know if that's what you were trying to say at, but that's what I was going to say.
I was going to say the opposite. I thought we would have been bad, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that what y'all have stands out, and Montreal has a lot of metalcore. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's when the pond is so big, it's hard to stand out.
Yeah.
You guys are like the biggest fish in a pond of 3 fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I mean, it's sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I feel like it's a full circle moment anyway, because the music we play, it fits well with alternative gigs, and it fits well with hardcore/metalcore gigs. As a matter of fact, I think out of the 10 shows we are playing, maybe about 7 of them were hardcore/metalcore gigs. So yeah. I feel like either way, it's
yeah. It was funny.
It's a full circle moment.
Our second show was Scaramanga. It was Category 514. Gradual Slip, shout out Rohan. Scaramanga, Primal Horde, and us.
Yeah.
And I went into that gig terrified. I was like, we're going to get booed off stage. And I told that after our set to Jay from Scaramanga. And he goes, yeah, me too. I was scared for you guys. But he was like, you guys were so sick. And I was like, and it fit in so well. And like it was probably one of my favorite sets ever because like we were sandwiched between Primal Horde, which is like caveman death metal, and Scaramanga, which is like hardcore, you know?
Hardcore.
So it was so scary, but it was like my favorite set we ever played because it was different. You know, it wasn't 5 mosh bands in a row. There's like a breather, which was us, which to me was like, it was really cool.
I want to say that show was literally the tipping point. If not that, then the Prowl show that happened right after. But those 2 shows were definitely like the pivotal moments for us. Yeah. Where we somehow just became a part of the MTL HC collective and people fuck with us. And we were just like, okay, we are good.
Right, cool.
But it's like that title fight moment or like even like Turnover, you know, where it's bands that shouldn't fit just do because there's like the attitude is there.
Like, and also we're 4 hardcore kids.
Exactly.
You know?
Like,
yeah.
If that doesn't tell you anything, if nothing else says anything, that's what should be the statement is when it comes to like the hardcore community, it has a lot less to do with the music and a lot more to do with the relationships.
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, I saw y'all play with Botfly too, and that shit was dirty.
Yeah, that was fun.
First show.
We're playing with them July 13th. As
July 13th.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, you will.
I already told Keegan. I was like, I'm gonna see you in July, big homie.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun set. Gonna be a good show.
Honestly though, shout out Botfly, shout out Keegan, shout out Dwayne, shout out Babs, shout out Sean. Like those, there are day ones. Like even before Cloned was a thing. Like we've been like they're homies and. I don't know. I don't know what more to say. Like they've been hella supportive with us all through and through. Like Babs is the one who's been printing our shirts for the most part. So like all of them are just I love all of them to death. Like I'm so happy that we're playing a show with them again. Like they were our first show and now it's like our 11th 12th show, I think. I don't know, but there's been so much growth between those, like the first and 12th shows, and I feel like our first show being with Botfly and Spyhouse has also helped so much with like gathering some sort of like following and hype to our project. So if it weren't for them, I don't know where we would be right now. Actually,
what were you gonna say, Alec?
I was gonna say Botfly and Spyhouse. They're like it's our first show, but like. They're the reason we're here, genuinely. Like Max made our record. Nab put us on that first show because I just texted him. I was like, "Yo, we have a band and we're like ready to play." And he's like, "Okay." All the Bot Boys, all the Bot Flyers are like our homies. Dwayne lent me his guitar head for our first 3 shows. Babs prints our shirts. Tegan gives me advice on tones. Like. He's a genius. All our dogs, like without him, like there's no way we'd be half the band we were.
Yeah, I genuinely like. I just put. I'm putting Keegan's episode out like this week.
Yes.
And like I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh wow, this is like the first, second appearance of a band. I think it's very, very like, meaningful that it's Botfly just because like from the moment that I even like met them, they were always just like, oh hey, like it was like we'd known each other for a very long time. So they are truly like nice people.
Yeah, absolute homies, like the best,
genuine sweethearts. They deserve the world and more.
Absolutely.
And they write very good music.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
underdogs
make no sense.
Very good. So, give me them deets for those upcoming shows.
Will do. I'll send it to you. On the group chat.
No, like right now, like verbally.
Okay, so our upcoming shows are well that are announced at least. So June 9th, we're playing the Chain Block EP release show, the demo release show rather, with of course, Chain Block, XS, Will to Speak, and Verify. June 16th, we're playing at Lopez, Montreal, which is the skate shop on Plaza Saint-Hubert. We're playing with Myland and Deadbolt. Everything else is TBA right now. But yeah,
except the July Botfly, and in
July,
house with Botfly and Ultra Part. We have like a little mini tour. It's our first mini tour. So July 13th, we're doing Montreal with Botfly and Ultra Part. July 15th, we're doing Steel City, Hamilton, with Mylan Duflame, To the Bone, and a new band. And then the next day, we're doing Toronto with, I think, Mylan and Duflame again. So it's a little run. And then the next week, July 30th, we're doing Ottawa for the first time.
Yeah, we're doing side by side weekend on July 30th for Ottawa, and we're playing with the same day as Botfly. So
yeah,
and then hold you, bro. Yeah, you gotta do it, and then obviously hold your ground.
Yeah, that's definitely been announced. And you guys are playing. Y'all are playing Friday, right?
I think
we are playing Friday. We're
gonna find out 2 days from now. So by the time I think we're playing Friday, we're playing like midday, which is insane.
Yeah. So we are playing Friday, and we are playing pretty deep into the bill, actually, shockingly enough. So
you know why? It's because y'all got the clout.
Well, it was funny because when the fest got announced, we're like, yeah, we're gonna open this festival for sure. And then we get like a text being like, actually, like, no. And we're like, oh, okay.
They're like, you're midday. I was like, I'm like, you're messing with me right now.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you're like late day, and I was like, okay.
No complaints.
I'm stoked for that. That weekend's gonna be so fun. Oh, and I'm very excited about the Duflame shows because Duflame is so good.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's great. We met him. We met him and Dear God because they're kind of like interchangeably the same band.
Yeah.
But we met both of them at the show we played with Myland in Toronto. They're like the sickest dudes, and we were always like, let's work on something, let's get something done. And now we're doing that this summer, which is just awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Stoked for that. Stoked for Myland being here too.
Oh yeah. At the skate shop is gonna be crazy.
We got to start getting more shows at Lopez.
Oh, I'm cooking it.
It's cooking. It's funny because when the Glow and Orb show happened at Lopez, I wasn't there, but I saw photos and stuff. And I was like, oh damn, it's a skate shop. The skate shop shows. Like Clone should definitely like play a show here. And then next thing you know, 2 months later, oh yeah, you guys want to play a show at Lopez? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick, and it's like, sadly, it's one of our only all ages venues.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
We really need more of those. But it's really cool that the guys at Lopez have been letting bands do that.
It's so funny. I feel like the all ages has become it's become recently because I've been going to shows since I was 15, and like all the places that are now 18 plus, I was able to get into when I was like 16, 17 years old.
What is that? Like, I need to know, because y'all are obviously like quite a bit younger than me. But when I was growing up in my hometown, we had like 1 or 2 venues that would have all ages shows, and they were great venues, but they were safe. Like,
yeah. Well, Turbo was all ages. I still think it is. I don't know. Turbo House.
Turbo's still all ages. It just, I think it just depends on who's booking it per se.
Yeah. But
Turbo is all ages.
Yeah.
Turbo is all ages.
Like Casa, Salarosa, all that stuff. That's all ages.
Sonorania is all ages, I thought.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're all ages. And then besides that, I think everything else, like when I was 17, the Dillinger Escape Plan announced they were breaking up, and they played a final show in Montreal, and I couldn't go because Fufune Electric is 18 plus.
I also think a good portion of that is just that like Montreal is such a dive bar city that like the only people who are willing to have shows are dive bars, and legally, you know, with their alcohol license and everything, they can't necessarily have people underage. But it's nice that like, especially with like Montreal growing as a scene or going through a resurgence again, I guess it's nice that like more people are now opening their spaces to host shows for all ages. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really want to see more of that because I'm very nervous about, like, when I look around at hardcore shows, it's obviously a lot of friends, but a lot of those people are turning into 30-year-olds. And that's not cool. Like, that means that it's going to like fizzle out as soon as, you know, we're too old to play. But, you know, you guys being early 20s and then finding more people that are in their teens to be able to start bands. And that's why I really like Clone, just because y'all aren't like a hardcore band, but y'all are hardcore people.
Yeah.
And so
hardcore adjacent, which
that's honestly what we need. Like, we need fresh sound. We need fresh people. Like, it's a huge deal of not having that in the city.
Yeah. And there's so many bands doing, you know, good stuff that are, you know, like the first band that comes to mind obviously is Deadbolt, who I found out are younger than me, so now I'm a little salty about that. Because I used to joke being like, oh, I'm the youngest guy in Montreal hardcore, and like for the most part that would be right. But now, like, I found out Ryan is like 3 months younger than me, and I was like, oh no. But I never want to gatekeep that, of course. Like, I absolutely welcome all the young people in the scene, and like, yeah, I don't want the genre to fizzle out. And I think naturally, like just like the TikTokification, but it's going to bring the young people in, whether we want to or not, you know. And some of them maybe, you know, 6-month bases, and then they'll be out of there. But, you know, to me, I think like I you know, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's also really nice to have a bunch of fresh bands and like all of them being like in their 20s as well, especially in Montreal. Like I always have to talk to people about it, but it was like Montreal in like 2018 to like COVID pretty much was bleak. Like lots of bands were either like fizzled out or moved out of Montreal, and we only had like the same 4 or 5 bands playing shows. So, and I, like Alex said, I think due to like the TikTokification of hardcore, and just like, you know, with COVID, you have more time to discover what's around you. I feel like that has helped a lot because now we have like so many like young bands right now that are fucking killing it. Like you have like Crosscheck, you have Freezer Burn, you know, Bruiserweight, obviously, you know, you have Spite House, you have
Bruiserweight's old, bro.
Bruiserweight's like dad energy, man.
Okay, all right. I mean,
that's someone from every decade.
Alex, we literally have boomers all the way to zoomers.
Okay, well, you know what? Like, y'all still got a young audience rooting for your shit, so that's why I put y'all in there. But
I appreciate that.
But yeah, it's just like, you know, like there's so many like insane bands right now, and they're all like in their 20s, just fucking killing it. It's just nice to have that resurgence again of like just new bands just coming out of the woodworks and just like coming out with like shit that just rocks your socks off. You're like, what the fuck, you know? So. And like, from someone who's like lived in Montreal for a good portion of their life, it's kind of nice seeing like a city that I've lived in for all my life, and I got so tired of that I moved to Toronto, and I come back and it's like, yeah, this is the city I love again, and it's like all due to like just everything resurging again. It's really nice to see that, and I hope that the momentum does continue, like not just like for now, but like I'm hoping that like this momentum continues and that like people will realize that like Montreal has so much hidden gems, and that it's a city that you shouldn't overlook and you should put on the map when it comes to well, I mean, kind of with indie it's already a thing, but like with hardcore especially, you know.
Yeah
100%.
Well, I appreciate y'all's perspective on being younger folk in hardcore, because I'm old. And It's
One of the
sad.
younger ones in bruiserweight, so don't worry about that.
I'm the mid. I'm mid.
Bridge the
I'm
gap
mid.
between me and Ryan and
I'm,
Scott.
I'm mid, but I'm free.
I am mid. It's like that TikTok audio where it's like, I am white, unseasoned. That's just me.
I am
But-
middle.
But mid. But yeah, I appreciate y'all's perspective. I am not one of those that is opposed. That's a weird statement. I am not one of those that is opposed to the TikTokification of hardcore. I actually do think with all of the attention, it will attract a lot of people. And a lot of those people will go away once the trend kind of is not as hyped, but it will bring true like fans.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It'll do what happened to us, but we found it differently. Obviously, like me through MySpace. And I mean, y'all probably through like Facebook events or, friends at school or something, but there's a home for people that they'll figure out through watching a TikTok video of a mosh pit at FYA.
Yo, it doesn't matter how you get there. It's if you get there, that's what matters. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We all got our stories.
That's
Yeah.
it. So
Exactly.
I think that it's almost by any means necessary if it's somebody watching, Haley Williams two-step at that stupid Las Vegas festival, and that's how they figure out what hardcore is. I mean, that's fucking sick too.
Nice.
Or if it's somebody watching somebody get knocked out at FYA and it shocks them into going to a show, also cool.
Yeah, I mean, hardcore is for everyone. Like, and it's definitely one of those genres that has like, it's just like any other scene. You have your people who are gatekeepers and you have your people who are all welcoming, but 100% hardcore is for everyone. And it doesn't matter how you find out. If you like it and you fuck with it and you want to be a part of it, you're more than welcome to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I think that's the big thing too, is if you fuck with it. Like if it doesn't scare the shit out of you, then it's probably that you belong there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big deal. That's the big condition. It's like if you go to a show and you're scared, like obviously you don't have to go back. It's fine. At least you tried it out. But if you enjoy it and you love it, whether it's the music or the experience or the friends you've made or just the community aspect of things, like then it's for you.
Yep. It's organic. It's
organic.
So yeah. But again, thanks for, sharing your perspectives. It's nice to hear from people that have not been around less time, but are kind of younger in the scene. Because I feel like I talk to a lot of people my age and that becomes an echo chamber and it's annoying. So there we go.
Over here for it.
There we go.
There we go.
I really, really appreciate y'all taking time coming on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun.
I love this episode, man.
This is gonna be a great episode.
I'm really excited.
It's gonna be a banger.
It's gonna slap. But I just have one last question for y'all before we log off. What's y'all's favorite city for beans and breakdowns? And I'll start with Alec this time.
Okay. Thought about this. In theory, it should be Montreal
On paper.
on paper. But I was listening to New York City by Madball. So, New York City. Or New York State, but you ask for a city, it's going to be New York City.
What's the coffee spot there? What you got?
You know what? There's so many. I went pre-COVID to New York, and there were so many. That's kind of where I discovered my love of coffee, but I couldn't tell you a single cafe that I went to. But I'm going to lie because Balance and Composure is reuniting. And if you've heard our music, you'll know I love that band. So I'm going to New York for a weekend there, and I'm going to just go crazy with cafes. So I will re-update that answer if ever. But to me, like, New York hardcore was huge. Buffalo hardcore is huge. Like, Buried Alive is my favorite band. And I played with them, No Flex.
No flex.
No flex. No flex.
Earth Crisis, all that stuff. Anywhere from New York, but like New York City to me is like what, that was like my gateway into hardcore.
Marauder's definitely not the biggest influence on Bruiserweight.
Not at all. Not at all. And there's no Glassjaw influence in Clone Apparition. Zero.
No,
None.
none.
Oh, zero. No, not at all.
You couldn't hear it if you tried.
Fuck no. No
Just
way.
the vocals alone. Like,
Nah.
isolate the vocals and that's Glassjaw.
Daryl.
Like, Alice, what you got?
So my favorite city for Beans and Breakdowns, yes, on paper it should be Montreal as well, but I am going to give it to Chicago.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a crazy one, right? But there are so many insane hardcore bands in Chicago right now that are just like absolutely killing it. Like Si Dios Quiere is like an insane ass fucking band.
Shout out Louis.
Shout out Louis. And for for coffees, like they go fucking stupid. Like there was a place I went to that was just like Art Deco in a cafe. I think it was called like Cafe Deco or some shit. It was just like Art Deco, like all over the fucking place. I've also gone to Sawada Cafe. It was probably like one of the best coffees I've had. That's on like North Green Street. But don't ask me what area that is. I just remember being there and it was fucking fun. Chicago is just, to me, it's like, if it's not Chicago, probably Philadelphia, but it's one of the two. That's a tie. But like both of those cities, I feel like are like second homes to me. It almost feels like I haven't left Canada. Like it feels like Chicago is like Toronto to me, and Philadelphia feels like Plateau to me. So it feels like those cities are always just like, there's always something that reminds you of like Montreal or Toronto and I love those places for those reasons. Like Philadelphia is Grindcore House, great fucking place. And then of course you have like all the good ass Philly bands there, like Jesus Peace and all of that. So yeah, it's a tie between the two, but I think I'm leaning more towards Chicago. So it'll be Chicago.
The Windy City.
The Windy City.
Home of Harm's Way.
Yes.
Harm's Way. How could I forget Harm's Way?
Aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Well, brethren, I again appreciate y'all so much. Long live Cloned Apparition.
Thank you.
Excited for the next release and for these shows coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know I'm going to see y'all like next week. So it's like,
You're using it practice.
yeah, like on Monday. But
thank you for having us on, man. This was
really, thank you for having us on. Yeah,
so much fun. This hour flew by.
Yo, shout out the Discord, Canada's Coffee.
Canada's Coffee.
And hey, yo, big shout out to Gage Lanza because he's the reason why that exists.
Cup International.
Yeah. Shout out Cup International. Shout out Gage. Shout out Fuck You Two Coffees. Like.
Wait, do you know what FYTC? I don't want to keep this episode too long.
No, I need to. So I am aware of the FYTC gang. I got to get them on. I just haven't reached out, but I'm planning that too.
Holy smokes. Dude, my last exam graduating, I did an FYTC moment. Wow. It like serotonin to the brain. It was amazing.
Wait, what was the, what?
Like my last exam of my undergrad of university, after I finished, I did an FYTC moment at a cafe nearby.
Like just drank 2 coffees straight up?
2 cold brews.
What is wrong with, that's a lot of caffeine.
2 cold brews to the dome.
Yo, my heart was like a deathcore double bass. Like it was crazy.
like Lorna Shore style.
Dude, yeah, it was all programmed and triggered. Like
straight.
Yeah, but it felt great.
Well, I might try that one day. It'll have to be the right circumstances. Maybe at Hold Your Ground, that'll be the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're doing cold brews. I don't know if I'm going to announce. I'll put it in here for the real ones. If anybody's still listening this long, like this is your reward. So if you're going to be at Hold Your Ground, Beans and Breakdowns is going to be there. That's already been announced. But we've partnered with Black Sheep Coffee out of Welland, Ontario. We're going to be doing a custom cold brew blend with the help of Lucas, who's been on the podcast before. And so we're going to be doing some cool shit.
Hell yeah.
So y'all be on the lookout for that.
That's going to be a fun weekend. Full of coffee, full of friends.
Yes, Friends and Coffee and Matthews Patties.
And Matthews Patties.
All right, well, y'all have a great rest of your evening. I'll be seeing y'all soon.
Yeah, for sure. You too.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beans and Breakdowns. I want to say a huge thanks to Alice and Alec for hanging out with me on an afternoon. It was lovely to chat with them. If you haven't already, listen to Coming of Spring. It's their most recent EP and their debut release. It's available on all listening platforms under the name Cloned Apparition. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can find out more information about the podcast by following us on Instagram at Beans and Breakdowns, or on the web at beansandbreakdowns.com. Until next week, be sure to stay caffeinated and wake the fuck up.